Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. I just need to get out in front of it. One, we're in the basement studios again because I'm just battling demons right now. We have a strep throat fever-induced delirium. I cannot be held responsible for anything I say on this podcast. I am throwing every vitamin and medicine known to mankind at this thing, and we're just struggling.
That is a tough scene, considering we were both looking forward to getting back in the studio after my gallivanting around Florida and Alabama last week. But here we are. So yeah. We'll deal with it. We'll deal with it for one more week. It's fine.
And luckily for you, this is the best my voice has sounded all day. Luckily for the listeners, hopefully there's more than one. But first question I got for you. Have you ever been stung by a bee?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you ever been stung by a bee in the face?
Yes. Slightly above the eyebrow. I'm guessing that counts as the face. But yes, I have.
All right. So I'm playing Sunday. We'll skip ahead for some of the golf I played this weekend. Playing Sunday with Gunth and Ryan. Shout out to those guys. Walking 18. We make the turn. Grab some drinks. I got decided to get a little adventurous. Got some of those Cutwater vodka mule drinks. And I'm walking down our 10th hole, first fairway on the red course. Talking to Gunth about he's changing music out and all that stuff. Take a drink, not even paying attention. Bam, right in the nose. There's a bee that was inside of my drink that came out and assaulted my face.
Well, you know what bees don't like? That's right.
Yeah, that's my mistake.
That's on you.
100% on me.
Thank
you for doing that.
They don't like Miller Lite like I do. The bees stay away from the Miller Lite. You start venturing out into the neutrals and the high noons, and look, I love those drinks, but during bee season, and they're going a little nuts right now. This is like the third story I've heard about someone getting stung in the last week. You kind of try to have to get away from the neutrals and the high noons and the cutwaters when the bees are they know that their hours are waning on Earth here as we approach the end of the summer. So
yeah, that was true injury to insult of all the golf that I played over the last week.
But hold on, real quick. Real quick. That happened to you, right? But you were not the one in the worst shape in that foursome or that threesome, from what I understand. So
no, we'll have to get the full details from Gunth. But they celebrated somebody's birthday, I believe, and had to hit a minimum of like $1,000 on a bar tab. So our guy was feeling it out there Sunday.
But not a lot of drinkers too, which is just like that's fighting an uphill battle. Now, if we were there, it would have been $1,000 would have been gone in about an hour and 45 minutes. But what are you gonna do?
Exactly.
I was driving. He piqued my interest. If I wasn't delirious from driving for 14 hours, he did pique my interest about showing up. But tough scene showing up at 7:45 to play golf the next day.
Yeah, shout out to him for one, being on time, and two, battling. I know he wasn't feeling it, but we had a great day. So back to Wednesday. This all started for me Wednesday. Really, it started the Stampede. You know, I've been struggling, especially off the tee. Well, Wednesday night, get paired up with Timmy, a.k.a. Thicky Fowler, our king. And we vibed. It was great. I shot 41, just kind of like bogey here, bogey there. Didn't do anything great, didn't do anything bad. But that was just kind of, I made some putts, so it was like symptomatic of what could happen, right? Friday, Susie and I, once a year, we do like a little date golf night and go get dinner before she goes back to school. One, it was like 1,000 degrees outside.
Yeah.
But two, I immediately, Waffle House went off the tee. It's fine. But we're scraping it around. We're 2 over through 3, right? Just, it's fine. Step up on number 4, white. We're on the white course. I hit the Michael blockiest of blocks. The Adam way right it might have carried the houses on the right. Like it didn't even hit somebody's house. It went over them. And that started a nice run of 7-3-9-7.
Ooh.
Got up and down on 9 to shoot 49. So
and then that's when your wife looks at you and go, "You play a lot of golf. How is this possible?"
I mean, God bless her. She was a good sport about it because I was a sad boy. You get golf sad.
Oh,
I need to be. I need to be better. But it was the 9. I mean, it was on 6, par 5, tight driving hole. But again, send one way right, lost ball, re-tee, Waffle House left naturally. Then I send a hybrid out of bounds again. So we're just like absolute scramble fest, horrible. And then on 7, hit it over the green and proceeded to like 3 or 4 chip. I can't even remember. I think I blacked out. So we shoot 49, and then I'm texting Ryan immediately. I'm like, dude, I know we're playing Sunday. I need you. Because Ryan and I have a history of, he's like, he puts his hands on me, and it's like, brings something out of me, fixes me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I'm like,
yep.
He lets me do my thing for about 8 holes. I think I was 6 over through those 7 or 8 holes. He tells me I'm whipping it way inside. So we fix the takeaway.
That happens.
I was, I ended up shooting 80 with 2 triples. So from then on, all I had to do was par the last hole or shoot 77. It was 9 red. Airmailed it over the putting green from like 100 yards. So there's still something in there, but we're feeling good about the progress that was made. Friday was such a tough scene. Oh, anyway, that's enough. And then I got stung by the bee on Sunday too in the middle of all. It was just, what are you gonna do? And after all this, my handicap goes from a 7.2 to a 6.9.
Yeah, that's tough. But you just get to the point in the season where the really bad stuff's not going to count and the really good stuff is.
Yep.
I found that out the hard way this week. I played pretty good on vacation. But yeah, you get to that point in the season where you're posting scores and the bad stuff is just not going to do anything for you, and then the good stuff is just going to absolutely tank your handicap. So, which is good. And obviously, we try to have the best handicaps we can, right? Like we go play golf. We're traditionalists, right? We're not sandbaggers. We like to go out, play golf, play the best that we can, God given, and we post our scores, right? So if you're trying to have a lower handicap, this is the time of year. This is always the time of year where I know, like, I always have my lowest handicap.
Yep.
Just because if I shoot a bad score, it doesn't do anything to it. But then when I actually play well, it does a lot to it. So kudos to you. You might be on the snowball down the hill here.
I just can't break that. Like, I think 6.7 is my low. So I said at the beginning of the year, I wanted my handicap to start with a 5. All we got to do is get to 5.9.
And you did say usually this time of year you start playing better because you've kind of got into the groove of things. We've had some events. We've got events coming up here in a couple weeks. Another member event. So you're going to be playing a lot of golf here in the next couple weeks, right before school kind of goes back in.
Yep. So we'll see. I mean, fall golf is closer than we think, and that's ripe time of year for good scores. So.
Yeah, exactly. But,
all right, tell us
like
about your gallivanting around Florida.
Yeah, so I played 3 times, which I don't normally play that much on vacation. Not that I think of golf as work, but like I do, like to spend time with the family. Like we're all there together. Like the last thing I want to do is spend a bunch of time on the golf course. My brother-in-law, who's new to golf, like sicko golf, like he wants to play all the time. So I'm like, he wanted to play 3 times. I was like, okay, whatever. We'll play 3 times. Monday, we played a golf course called Links Golf Club. It was part of Sandestin. Tons of water. It was like peak target golf. Not a lot of drivers. There was a couple drives on that course there. Like the opening felt like it was like you had to hit it through a doorway. I still play pretty good. The funniest thing about all the courses, at least the courses I played down there, all the greens are gigantic. we're going to see how this game transfers over to back to our course with smaller greens. Because, like, I went back and looked at my stats from all 3 rounds, and I only missed 4 greens on Monday. I only missed 2 greens on Wednesday, and I only missed 1 green on Friday. But they're big, big greens. And if you got anybody looks at our Instagram page, you saw the video I did. So Links Golf Club on Monday. It was okay. Like, I liked it. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was good. It had really good views. It was right up against the Chattahoochee Bay. Had like 5 holes that kind of ran across the bay, which is pretty cool. And then Wednesday was my favorite course, Kelly Plantation. I did a video on it. Super nice people over there. And the facilities, like, I kept getting told, like, you're going to love this course. I hate Bermuda greens, so I always kind of like go into it like, oh, I'm going to love it other than the greens. But their greens were fantastic. I mean, they rolled very pure. The golf course was fair but tough. Freddie Couples design, it was cool too on the GPS up in the corner. He played it after it opened, and it kind of told you what he did on each hole. I think he ended up shooting like 65 or 66. But those greens were gigantic. I mean, like the one on 11 and 7, there was a double green with a bunker in the center of it. I think I said 40,000 square feet. I was incorrect in saying that. It was 40,000 square yards of greens at this course. So if that tells you how big these greens were. But I played pretty well there. I shot 72 there. It could have been a lot better. I don't read Bermuda greens well. So like I missed a lot of makeable birdie putts that I feel like I would at least made a couple here, so it could have easily been in the 60s there. My wife caddied for me there. She drove along with us. We had a really good time, honestly. Met these guys from Nashville that were playing behind us. It was just an all-around good day. Had the wives out there. They were enjoying themselves, making stupid videos. They thought the sand bottles were ball washers, and I had to explain to them that doesn't make any sense given there's sand in them. But I enjoyed Kelly Plantation was just fantastic. Like I could see myself playing that course every single day, and it really does. Like I went back after I said like, oh, it tests every club in your bag. I went back. I hit every club in my bag on Wednesday. Literally every club in my bag. So you want to talk about an all-around test? I think that pretty much nails it down to an all-around test when you're hitting almost every. You hit either almost every club or every club in your bag. That really, that's when a golf course is built properly. So shout out to Freddie Couples for that. Then we played a course called Emerald Bay on Friday, also part of Sandestin, which is like a big sprawling resort that kind of has different locations all over Destin. It was good views. Greens weren't bad, but again, gigantic greens. Like I said, I only missed 1 green. I mean, I did hit the ball really well. I kept the ball in play, which is when you're playing down there with all the water, like the biggest challenge is to just keep it dry off the tee. But I did. I only missed 1 green, and I was hitting the ball that well. But I'm just curious how that translates to smaller greens because we do play on relatively smaller greens. You know what I mean? Like we're probably. I think Dan said it when we interviewed him. We're probably at like 40,000 square feet, not 40,000 square yards. You know what I mean? So that's a big difference. So we'll see how it translates. We had a good time. All the courses were good. I mean, it was just so hot. Heat indexes were up in the 105s, 107s every day we played golf. And, I came back here. Sunday was pretty warm, and you played Sunday. I thought it was really warm on Sunday, and I'm like, this doesn't even feel that bad. Like the heat index was like at 92, and I'm like, 92 compared to 107 is like it's like a cold front coming through. You know what I mean? So,
no doubt.
And then we already talked about farm links. I got my hat on today, but we already talked about where I hit up farm links on the way down last week. And I've had more questions about this course since we posted that video, and I've gotten some text messages, and everybody's just like, where can I find out more information? I'm like, go to this, go here. Because I even told our buddy Cody today, I'm like, dude, we've got to get a golf trip to go down there because like it's the perfect setup. You don't have to go anywhere. You stay on property. So, but
Yeah.
that was my golf vacation, the gallivanting that I did. Destin's a great location to go on vacation for families if anybody's looking to go. That was my first time, so and they had a bunch of more golf courses we could have played. Sandestin's got like 6 golf courses. There was a couple like east of us in Miramar that people were kind of telling me about. So maybe when I get back down there, we'll go to definitely going back to Kelly Plantation, but maybe go to a couple different courses for other a couple other days. So
Nice. All right. So what did you shoot, and where's the handicap at now?
okay, so I shot 70. So these courses, because there's a lot of forced carries with water, one course rating's very high, even if it's not maybe justified by the yardage and things like that. So I think Links Club or Links Golf Club, the first day, I shot 75. I think the course rating was 75. With a slope of like 150, if that tells you how much force carry and water there was. Kelly Plantation, I think I just said it, I shot 72. Course rating was just a hair over 75. I think a slope of like 154. So that hammered my handicap down a little bit. And then the last day I shot 70 with a course rating of 74.5. I want to say their slope there was like in the high 140s. So that 70 actually adjusted to like a -3, like 3.5 on handicap. So I just got absolutely toasted to the point where Ryan, my partner in all these events, texts me and he's just like, stop. I mean, good, but stop. He's like, stop. So I'm currently at a plus 1.9. Which could be the toughest of scenes next year in the Stampede. I've got to convince somebody, like, within the next 12 months that we got to play off the low ball or I'm going to be given, like, 6 or 7 shots back next year. So,
that's tough.
But I I can tell you this, like, I've gotten down to that handicap, but like I said, like, I'm playing really, really well right now. Like, I just am. Like, I'm putting the ball really well. I don't have any 3 putts. I haven't had a 3 putt, I feels like, I swear in a month and a half, which that automatically right there is going to help your score, right? If you're not 3-putting. And I'm not hitting anything. Like, I am hitting some shots close, but like, I'm not hitting I'm not hitting everything close. I'm just getting it on the putting surface. And then, if I make a bomb or whatever, but if in our game, as amateurs, like if you're making 15 pars around, you happen to throw a couple birdies in there, like, that's going to get it done a lot of the times, right? So,
yep.
But that's kind of where I stand. I am super excited about the club championship this year. I get to finally play in it. It's this weekend, so hopefully we'll have the game in full form and ready to go for that.
Yeah, this time I won't sabotage you with old fashions the night before.
I don't know. I started out pretty hot. I just needed to keep the fuel in the tank. We got the hole 13, and when you start getting hung over on hole 13, that's never good.
Yeah, not good at all. Good night, but rough club championship. For you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Speaking of championships, Lee Hodges won the 3M Open. I'm sure you didn't watch any of it. I know I didn't watch any of
it. I caught a little bit here and there, like a little on Friday actually when we got done golfing. Kind of were sitting down trying to relax, knowing we had a long drive. I watched a little bit of it, not enough to be like, I saw this shot, nothing like that.
Yeah, I think some of the more important. He wins by a touchdown, roll tide, Bama grad. Yep. He's had an up and down season. A lot of. He's popped here and there, some top 20s and stuff like that, but then a lot of missed cuts thrown in too. So interesting to see kind of if this springboards him to more consistency or if he's going to be one of these guys that, comes and goes on leaderboards and maybe takes a win here or there.
Yeah. Yeah, Saban, did you see the video? Saban called him after his win. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
he
sweet.
was
Yeah.
done. Yeah, he got done, and Saban called his dad, and he had a conversation with Saban, which I thought was really really cool. Um, but yeah, he's just kind of been one of those guys that's kind of been like, it's always funny. Like when a guy like this wins, you're like, you kind of think back, you're like, okay, and then you're like, oh yeah, like he was leading after day one of this event, or he was kind of up there in this event. And you start looking back, and you're like, okay, he's actually maybe playing pretty good. I don't know, but these opposite field events or post major events that aren't elevated, they're always going to get discounted. But I've always, I think we've talked about this on here before. A win's a win. You know what I mean? Like you're still out there playing against really good competition. So
No doubt. And the reason he won by 7, did you see the whole thing with JT Poston
I
on
did.
18?
Yeah, he tried to go for the
So,
green on that downhill lie.
yeah, he's down 3. He's got to try to make an eagle and hope that Lee makes a bogey, just to even like force a playoff, basically. He catches the rock, goes back into the water, makes a triple, ends up in a pack of tied for second with like 3 or 4 other guys. So,
Cost him a
but
pretty
I
big
thought
chunk of money, didn't it?
probably, I mean, going from solo second to,
I saw like
splitting that 4 ways.
130. Yeah, I think I saw $130,000 is what it cost him for
Yeah.
hitting that ball in the water.
I did see that sucks. I did see his comments after where he's like, 10 out of 10 times I'm going to do that every time. I'm trying to win. I'm not playing for second, which, you've got a proclivity for that type of play, right? So,
I mean, he's not wrong. Like, what is he supposed to do? Lay up and like take the loss by 2? Like, I mean, if he thinks he has a chance if he hits that ball on the green, you kind of have to go for it. I mean,
yeah.
like because JT's been around. He's got to win. I don't blame him. Like you're not going to be in that position too many times. You've got to try to play to win. You know, and I doubt they probably are like, well, if we finish solo second, this does this for the FedEx Cup. This and they're probably not even thinking that. They're like, look, we're playing to win. You're in second place. Who cares if you come in first? Second to 60th. Who cares? Like other than the money, but he's made some money, so that whole mindset's kind of out the window, right? So I agree with it. When I saw him say that, I'm like, yeah, you don't play tournaments to come in second place. Like if you are, like that's a loser mentality as it is anyway. So I agreed with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, to your point, that's what you got to do in that scenario if you're him. Some notables just to highlight that I'm running down the leaderboard. Tony Finau, T7, maybe some signs of life. Emiliano Grillo staying hot,
I
another
know
T10.
he's kind of on a heater right now for sure.
I mean, he's got the win on the season and, played well at the Open. Like, that's just kind of interesting.
Yep.
Sahith, our boy, 3rd straight miscut, just going the wrong way.
Yeah, there's something not right there. I just feel like I know this is his 3rd miscut. He had some tournaments early on where I thought he played really well, but he's not. You really haven't heard his name for a couple months now, like in general. So that means like even when he's making cuts, he's not anywhere near a top 10 or anything like that. So
yeah, it's just crazy how fast it can go. Like he's, last year he contended like almost every single week. There's a lot of talk about him for Ryder Cup, and now he's just kind of lost. It seems. Cam Young miscut after a good Open Championship.
I was surprised he was there, to be completely honest with you, but maybe he's trying to solidify his spot on the Ryder Cup team by maybe having a good tournament.
Yeah, I think between that and I don't know where he's at in the FedEx, but I know he's had a bit of a struggle this year, so he could probably use a few points. Speaking of needing points, Justin Thomas. Since his T9 at the Travelers, we've got a miscut at the Rocket Mortgage, a T60 at the Scottish, and a miscut at the Open Championship. Now a miscut here. I think I saw he needs a solo 18th place finish or better to make it into the playoffs.
This
we're.
I mean, and it's so funny that he made his debut at this tournament. He made his debut at the Wyndham. I think when he was like 16 years old or something like that. It was like 16, 17 years old. Life comes full circle. We're back. I bet he never thought in his entire life he'd be playing the Wyndham Championship. playing for his life essentially to make the playoffs. But man, when you play like he has this year, life comes at you real fast. So yeah. And I'll tell you, I actually love this tournament. I think it's a really cool course. So
Sedgefield is great.
Sedgefield's a great course. Donald Ross too, I believe, right? Yep.
Yep.
So it's a great course. I always like watching the big guys play the Donald Ross courses. But I just don't think this course sets up for him very well. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, no course sets up well when you're hitting it like he's hitting it and putting it like he's putting it. But he's not putting well either. So, that's been kind of one of his things. He's been a decent putter, and like it's kind of all lost him. And that's going to be real tough to play a Donald Ross course and not stroking the ball well on the greens.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. He's I don't know what's going to happen in terms of Ryder Cup and all that, but it'd be nice to see him, get it done this week, get in the playoffs, and build a little momentum.
That, real quick, really quick,
sure.
that, like, there's zero chance that Zach Johnson can take Justin Thomas as is right now. Like, unless he makes a run in the playoffs, there's zero chance you can take him on the Ryder Cup team. That is that's a pick that you take, and if you go and get blown out, everybody goes, this is why you don't take a guy that's playing like this. Like, regardless of name, like, you're not going to do it for anybody else that's playing like this. Like that, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Zach Johnson realizes just how bad he is playing this year. I think he would take Jordan. If you're looking for a name and a leader in the clubhouse, I think he would take Jordan over JT because he's probably playing. I mean, Jordan's not playing particularly hot, but I think when you look at it, he is playing better than JT. So if you're going to take a name like that for leadership purposes, you'd almost have to take Jordan at this point rather than JT. Can't take both of them. I mean, you just can't. Like, unfortunately, I'd love to see that team back together, but it's just not going to happen.
The problem is I don't know if anyone's really beating down the door to pass him. Like, I know he's not playing well, obviously, but for what he's meant to these last few teams, best friends with Jordan Spieth, like the U.S. team has a history of kind of doing this thing, right? Where like they'll take a name even if they're not playing that great, and it has bitten them several times in the past. But I just think this guy with his match play record, I'd rather go down with him on the team than to not take him and then grab, I don't know, a guy like Sam Burns who's struggling, or Denny McCarthy, which, something like, it's like those are your options versus a guy that's been there and done it. You're going on away, foreign soil. I don't know. I think it'll be close, but I think he'll still be on the team.
I was just hoping it kind of all work itself out where he would start playing below, and you're like, okay, this isn't a stretch to take him, right? Like, he's starting to play better because they are going to need that leadership. Like, I think I was listening to Subpar, and they were talking about Brian Harman getting heckled at the Open Championship. They're like, this is the most heckling we've ever heard in the Open Championship because those people typically love good golf. They don't really care who it comes from. They're rooting for certain guys, but they don't. Like, they appreciate really good golf, and he was already getting heckled. And they're like, look, if that's any leeway into the Ryder Cup this year, like, it's going to get interesting. And, do I want a Denny McCarthy out there getting heckled? I mean, the guy's a stone cold killer with a putter in his hands, but I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Hopefully JT gets a top 18 and makes a little run in the playoff, maybe win a playoff event because he's more than capable of doing that, right? We know he's more than capable of doing that. So I'm hoping he can maybe separate himself a little bit, and it doesn't look like that bad of a pick if Zach decides to take him.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. He, the thing it seems like it just feels like it's kind of the Jordan Spieth thing when Spieth was down, right? Where it's like he's still making birdies, but he is like nuking himself on like 2 holes around. Like, there's just too many like doubles or worse that are, when the margins are this thin at this level, like it's pretty difficult to actually do anything.
Yeah, like typically no one can take doubles, but like when you're talking like you got to shoot 24 under in the tournament to win, like you can't take any doubles. You can really you can barely take bogeys, to be honest with you. But You know,
He is, so I'm just looking at it. He's 37th in birdie or better percentage on the season. He's 172nd in bogey avoidance.
yeah, there
So
it is
he's
right there.
just, yeah. I mean, that's what it is.
He
So
get
in a match play format, hey,
might not be that bad actually. Yeah,
yeah,
if he's making a lot of birdies, and you can lose a hole here and there with a bogey, as long as you're offsetting him with making some birdies, making a decent amount
right.
of birdies. So,
All right.
but
Well, we'll keep following the Ryder Cup standings closely here as we go. Obviously, you got to figure out who needed the back nine six pack this week. I immediately when you're scrolling, the first thing I do is scroll the board, right, and you got to see who's at the bottom. A gentleman named Noah Hoffman, I believe he's a 25-year-old rookie on tour. I don't even know. It was hard to see where he's even gotten starts and things like that. But he was
yeah,
20 over for the tournament. He shot an 86 in the first round, right? 44, 42. But he was a Monday qualifier. I'm like, I can be a little lenient here, okay? And I can only do
little.
that. I can only do that because we might have a repeat offender here. We've got one Scott Piercy, who yet
I
again
know. I saw him
fired a
WD.
first round 80 WD.
We
Quit
don't like
taking up these
quitters.
spots. No, quit
We don't
taking up
like
these spots.
quitters.
You got guys battling for points and trying to make a livelihood, and you're just taking up these spots,
And
playing
then
one round and
WD.
getting the hell out. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that
We don't
that
like
is not
quitters.
that is not on the back nine six pack brand. I'm
No, we
prepared to
don't
give
like
it to him.
quitters. Oh, hey, you know where I stand on quitters. UWD. It's unless someone just absolutely nukes something, you get it. Like you do. Like if there's multiple WDs and we got to figure out. No, if you're the only WD, like no, you're done. Yeah, and that's the thing. Taking up a spot like that, and I don't know where Scott Piercy is on the FedEx Cup points. I don't really care where he's at. But there are guys that didn't get a start this week that were probably a lot closer than he is.
Yeah, or I
So,
mean, guys that are trying to, they're grinding Corn Ferry, they can get a PGA Tour start under their belt, things like that.
yep, exactly. So, yeah, I'm good with giving it to him.
All right, Scott Piercy, second time you needed the back nine six pack.
Suck
I think
it,
we're just
Scott.
gonna, at this point, we're gonna retire him. He's a two timer, unless there's something egregious down the road. We just need to get him out of here.
The Scott Piercy Memorial Back Nine Six Pack Trophy. That's what he's gonna get. He's
Yeah,
gonna win it so many times. It's gonna be named after him, like the Super Bowl trophy.
yeah, and that I honestly not good for our brand. We don't want Scott Piercy associated with the brand.
Oh gosh, yeah, he 100% deserves it though.
All right, good. I'm glad we found some agreement there. This whole PGA Tour memo thing, right? Jay
Yeah,
Monahan
I've
back
read
from
a
his
little bit
leave.
of it. Yeah,
The only thing I was able to get to was I think it's what's his name here on golf.com. James Colgan usually does a pretty good job of tracking this stuff and summarizing things. Long story short, they're talking a lot about as they continue to work on the agreement with the PIF, blah blah blah, trying to figure a way to get quote unquote loyal players compensation and create a path for live players to return to the tour if they want to. The thing is, you got guys like Phil Mickelson, who did you see his comments about this?
I did. He said that he's like, we're not apologizing to you. Like we expect an apology from PGA Tour for pretty much running their names through the mud and essentially sicking the golf media on live players.
Yeah, so I'll read the tweet that
To
Phil put out
paraphrase a
there.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Laughing emoji, always a good start. What a colossal waste of time. Not a single player on Live wants to play PGA Tour. It would require a public apology and restitution to Live players
Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
for paying millions to clout media to disparage all of us. A better topic is future sanctions for the many players who now come to Live. This whole thing is just there's still a lack of clarity. I mean, I don't even know where to go with it at this point. I think I'm just waiting and seeing what's up.
No, but I'll tell you this: Phil's a smart. Like you can think whatever you want about Phil, right? Like you can not like him, you don't like, whatever it is. Like he knows they have the leverage now. Like the cards have been shown, right? And while the PGA Tour is still going to hold more seats on the board and things like that, whatever, those players still have the leverage. Still, you know what I mean? Like he sees it. What's going to come down to is, when essentially the whole part of this is the PGA Tour, A, didn't want to fight Liv, right? And B, they want some of those guys back, like your Cam Smiths, things like that. They want them back. They do. They need them back. I mean, the PGA Tour has been entertaining, but we saw how great some of the majors were, specifically the PGA Championship, when you had some of those Liv guys that we haven't seen in a while kind of compete with the guys that have been that stayed on the PGA Tour. But Phil's not stupid. Like I don't blame him. Like the restitution thing, that's stupid. Like get out of here. But you know, and where I stand on the Live thing. I want to watch good golf wherever I can get it. Like I don't particularly think it's like the golf is good. I don't like the format so much. Like the team aspect's kind of cool, but like the shotgun start kind of confusing. I don't really like that. But I will say this: there were certain, like, I don't know if it's never going to get proven, right? I don't think the PGA Tour necessarily paid reporters to like go after Live guys, right? Like, I don't think that happened. But do I think Jay Monahan gave this guy did this? Probably. Like, I mean, like they didn't pay them, right? But I could definitely see a world where Jay Monahan sends a text like, "Hey, like, so and so, you should look into this. Like, I know he's on Live now, but like, you should look into this." And it's something that he knows, right? Like, he's dropping hot tips to reporters, and so I think something like that could have happened. Restitution's just absolutely asinine. Like, it's so far off the map that it's not even like. But he does, like, he knows, he sees the PGA Tour's cards. They're running out of money. They have to make this deal work, right? And he knows that, and he's going to say anything just to shove it back in Jay's face, essentially.
Yeah, so I think where this gets interesting for me, or at least potentially frustrating, is when you go and you see like kind of like shoehorned into this memo was the whole conversation about the PGA being unable to support the the model local rule the USGA and RNA are trying to do with the golf ball. He mentioned the membership of the tour, not believing that was good for the game, et cetera, et cetera. I have some concern with things like that it's going to become an entertainment product that like the meaning and the history and the records and things like that are going to get diluted because it just becomes they're creating their own state. It's just what Liv's doing, right? Like that, none of those tournaments mean anything. They're just hosting them, and it's a party for people to go to, I guess. And every little thing like this, where there's not something, the governing bodies of the game cannot all within the same universe cooperate and get things right for the good of the game, is when I think we start to lose, what makes the PGA Tour fun and interesting for me.
I get that. No, I mean, but my thing, where I stand with the whole ball thing, right? And this, it ultimately comes back, and I hadn't heard this point, but when I started, like, about a month ago, I started kind of reading more about it, and my biggest thing, and I've heard a couple people, and I don't know who I heard it from, or I'd give them credit, but like someone had brought up, like, okay, so you're going to ask these ball companies, let's just Titleist, for instance, right? You're going to ask these ball companies to put a lot of research and development money, is essentially what we're talking about, into developing and continuing to develop balls that are restricted flight, right? Now, there's technology out there for restricted flight and things like that. But when you're talking about balls those are on driving range, it's like, who cares, right? Like, if it's consistently the yardages, more guys are going out there working on ball shapes and things like that. But when you're talking about a ball that's going to be put in play for tournaments that are getting paid for $20 million, they're going to want to pour money into it. to make sure that they're putting the best ball, restricted ball, in play for their players, right? Well, when you talk about the money that they're going to pour into that kind of program, they're not just going to pour that money in and not make anything out of it, right? So what ends up happening is you and I, who are buying those Pro V1s and Pro V1Xs and things like that, we're essentially going to end up flipping the bill for those balls to be developed. So because they're not going to be selling those restricted flight balls to people that play golf on a much larger scale. We're talking the PGA Tour. We're talking like 0.001% of the people that play golf in the entire world. So the people that they actually make money off are like you and I. Well, they're not going to sell those restricted flight balls to people that are not they're never going to play on tour, right? They're never going to sell those balls. Like an 18 or 16 handicap's not going to be like, you know what I need? I need a ball that goes 30 yards less. Like they're not going to do it. So Titleist is not even going to market those to the Jims and Joes, right? So while a Pro V1s are expensive, like they're just going to become more expensive. So it only affects the everyday player because they have to flip the bill for these companies to develop these restricted flight balls. So that's kind of, and I'd heard that, and again, I don't know who, I'd never thought about it in that light. I kind of thought it was stupid in general anyway, because, look at Brian Harmon. Guy just won a major. He is nowhere near the longest hitter on tour. There's still room for these guys that don't hit it as far to win tournaments and win majors. Now, are they going to win the U.S. Open? Less likely, but there are still tournaments for them to win. And that's kind of where I stood. But then when I heard that point, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Why do I have to pay $80 or $90 for Pro V1s just because they got to develop a ball that 300 guys are going to use on a given year? So something to think about too.
I totally get everything you're saying for sure. The one thing I will say is I think they 100% already have this research in the barn. They could do it tomorrow if they wanted to make these golf balls. And they're just passing it off to the consumer because, they want to make money. So that's, I think, a little corporate greed potentially entering the conversation.
Possibly.
But the main thing for me is when I just step back and look at it, I'm like, what is the best thing for the game of golf and the sustainability and the scale of the game? To me, watching these pros are going to continue to get longer, more athletic, better optimized balls and flight and all that stuff. I don't want to watch them play scramble golf like I'm going with you and the boys to go play, Fairfield City Course or whatever.
Chip shots on the greens and stuff like that.
It's just not interesting. And, on the whole, who competes and who wins on tour, it's guys that cut the ball and guys that hit it, 330 yards plus or whatever. There are the one-offs, right? And depending on the course setup, it could be, more premium on accuracy, et cetera. But I just think it's putting the game in a direction that's not sustainable if we don't do something. And it's disappointing for me to see the PGA Tour just neglect it pretty much without, any conversation about it.
I agree with that, other than I think the USGA and the RNA are stuck in the 1920s when it comes to a lot of things.
Fair.
So their judgment, I always kind of look at it like if it was up to you, we'd still be wearing knickers on the golf course. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But I guess my point too, to follow up on this is, the guys, they're going to find a way around it, right? Even if you put these restricted, the technology for clubs, and the only reason I say this, I listen to, and I love Subpar. They always have really good guests on there. This was probably a month and a half ago. They brought an engineer in from Ping, and he's talking about what they're doing with clubs and the technology they have that they can do with clubs that they couldn't even do 2 years ago, making them more aerodynamic, which obviously helps club speed, things like that. If it's the ball, the club manufacturers are going to find a way around. They're still going to get guys that are going to be hitting the ball 310. They're going to find a way around it. Will it be next year? No. But could it be 5 years from now? Yeah. So what are you going to do then? Oh, got to restrict the ball even further. It's just a never-ending thing, and I don't know if there's any way. Technology is always going to develop, right? And I just don't I feel like this is a Band-Aid to the real problem, and I don't know what the real problem is. do we go back to playing persimmons? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe that's what you make them do. Like, keep the balls in play and make them play woods. I don't know, because they definitely don't go as long, right? So, to me, that would be such an easier fix. Like, hey, PGA Tour pros, like, you can only have so many CC head on your driver, and it's smaller. And just like in Major League Baseball, like, they don't use aluminum bats. They use aluminum bats in college baseball, right? Like, why can't we do, like, there's got to be some kind of fix like that than being like, oh, the ball. Like, because to me, you can get around the ball being restricted, and that's going to be making the clubs better. And they're already in the process of doing such things. I feel like if you make them use a club, like, the ball is not going to matter, right? Like, the clubs can only be a certain thing, and if they're wood, they got to be wood or whatever, and you have to hit certain muscle backs and things like that. Like, that to me is going to make, you wouldn't have to move tees back, you wouldn't have to expand courses, you could keep the courses the same, and there's really no way around that technology to make that technology better, because wood just does not pop as hard as, say, like, the type of metal they're, tungsten or whatever they're putting in these drivers these days. So like, again, I think that's kind of left out of the woods. But like, I was thinking about Major League Baseball. I'm like, they don't use aluminum bats, so why are PGA Tour players using woods? It's like, to me, it's kind of one and the same, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like all the analogies here, right? Like cart and horse, chicken, egg, toothpaste is out of the tube. Like, it's really a holistic challenge from the technology within the game. Plus, just naturally, athletes have gotten bigger, stronger, faster in every sport, and that's golf's no
Yeah.
exception there. So
Yep.
I don't know.
But
It's tough, but I do think that long story short, I'm a little disappointed in the PGA Tours and not at least exploring
yeah,
it
I
and
mean,
then
I
just
thought
kind
it
of
was a little
appeasing the
quick.
membership.
Yeah, it was a little
Yeah.
quick. Yeah, it was definitely a little quick. But, when you got a guy from Ping that's developing golf clubs, and he's pretty much saying, like, he doesn't agree with it because they're going to find a way around it. Like, a way around them not still, they're still going to hit, like, he's like, eventually we're going to find the technology where they're still going to be able to hit the ball 340 yards. To me, it's like, so what do you do with the balls? You just keep restricting them until they're playing, like, almost golf balls out there and they're foaming balls around. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but like, when you
I
hear a
know.
guy that makes golf clubs saying they're eventually going to find a way around these guys and they're going to get them back to the yardage as they were, it kind of is like, oh, this is a Band-Aid. Like, this isn't a sustainable. This is not a sustainable way to, quote unquote, fix the problem that they think is the problem with golf, at least professionally. So, I don't know.
Right.
It's interesting though. I do find it very interesting, and because it's just like we did, golf's kind of one of those things. While the technology's gotten better a lot better over the years, the game itself hasn't really changed that much. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
as far as a rule standpoint,
Sure. All right. Well, if anyone's still awake listening to this now, I think it's time to head to the patio.
yeah, we. Not to bore them too much with the golf ball talk and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I'll let you go first. I went first last week, I think.
All right. Patio beers. Anything goes on the patio. Susie, shout out to Susie for this one. She actually gave me this a couple weeks back, and I've been holstering it, just trying to figure out how I would answer it. And I finally figured out.
Oh,
And it was so obvious to me. It's one of those where it's obvious to me after the fact. Like, how did I not think of that? So, what is something that was fun for you or anyone when they were kids, but as an adult sucks or is not fun?
So, like, what was something that was fun for me as a kid, and now it's like, oh, that would be terrible?
Yeah, it's fun for anyone as a kid or awesome as a kid, but, as an adult, it's, not enjoyable or it's less awesome.
I actually got a very easy answer to this. And the only reason I say this is because this summer, to kick off the summer, Memorial Day weekend, two of our daughter's friends were like, hey, we want to camp out. And I'm like, cool, have fun. And then the dad's like, oh, you can stay with us. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, okay. So we camped out. Obviously, the kids were just like, we used to camp out as kids, like in our backyard. We'd go camping, but, we'd always camp out in our backyard. And we loved it, right? Like it was so much fun. It's like, oh, you're sleeping outside, this and that, and who cares if you're sleeping on the ground? But when you get you get on the dark side of 30, sleeping on the ground is not sustainable, and it is not fun. I had fun up until I had to go to bed. Okay, like we had fun.
Yeah.
We had a fire. We had a movie going. Like that. That to me is fun. But as soon as we had to go to bed, like I woke up, like my whole body hurts, back hurts. Like I had to golf. I was golfing that morning. I can't breathe out of my nose because it's like prime allergy season. The kids are just like ecstatic. They're like, "We got to do it again tonight." I'm like, "Absolutely not. I don't think I would survive. You'd be fatherless." Um, that is like the first thing that came to my head because I know we did it a lot as kids and we loved it. But like as a parent, I'm like, maybe that you sleep outside and I sleep in the house. Like I don't know. I don't know. So that's the first thing that came to my mind. I just, that was the low hanging fruit. But I was that whole day, like my body just hurt in places that I didn't even know, like I had muscles and things like that. So,
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good call. Camping did not cross my mind, but I do get that. It's plain and simple for me. Snow.
oh
Snow
yeah,
and snow days and sledding and all and the cold,
it just
all
makes
that was
life so
awesome
much
as a kid.
miserable.
And it stinks. Being in Ohio, being in Cincinnati, we spend what, 4 months or so of the year just in the gray, in the slush.
Hmm.
And, look, I love my boys, especially my oldest. He wants to get out there and go sledding, do all, build a snowman, throw snowballs. It's great to see it through his
Mm-mm.
eyes how much he enjoys it. But just take it away. The only time I want snow is on Christmas Day. You can give me some flurries, for the picturesqueness of it, right? But I take snow away. I don't need it.
Yeah, and the worst part is now that we're adults with houses and things like that, we try to keep things nice. Like we have nice houses. Like snow, like we have to get when we had a kind of a bad winter this year.
Yeah,
We had to get our carpet cleaned this year. Like, and we have like a mud room thing, but like, kids are not going to listen, right? They're going to trounce in with their dirty boots, wet boots. Like, they're just not going to listen, and it's like, it just makes everything nasty. You can't even get your car washed. Your car looks like crap. Like, I agree. It's terrible. But
yeah.
as
And I didn't
kids, you're
even
like,
mention.
I want a snow day, right? Like, I want a snow
Yeah,
day. Like, I don't want to go to school.
yeah.
And that
Dad
makes
doesn't get a
things
snow
harder
day.
too. No.
Dad doesn't. I don't get a snow day. I got to go drive to the office, in the crap where no one knows how to drive. And I didn't even mention shoveling the driveway, which is like the nut low of all like household responsibilities.
Yeah, it's terrible. It is absolutely terrible. And actually, we sold our last house. Like my last house, right? That
Yeah.
driveway was like this,
Hmm.
and it was long. Like we legitimately, the number one reason we moved is because of that driveway. And the winter before we decided to sell, we had a terrible winter. Like felt like every week we were getting like 6 to 8 inches of snow, and every week it felt like I was trouncing out there with the snow blower. And then the one week I fell, slid all the way down the bottom of the hill, and I'm like, I'm done. I was like, this house is done. Like I'm out of here. Like so, we packed our shit up and moved. Like all
Uh,
because of snow. Like all because of snow. So
yeah,
I get it.
our new house is much better from that perspective. Our old one, you know that one as well. It's probably like 100-foot driveway
Big.
with a wraparound garage with a
Yep.
giant back patio area and just horrible to
Nope.
shovel.
Yeah.
Awful.
Snow as an adult is just like such a buzzkill.
Yeah, and then just a quick honorable mention for me. I thought about this because it's different now with kids, but that period of your life where you're like between the magic of Christmas for yourself and your kids, Christmas is kind of low key like not fun when you're an adult.
No, you don't get gifts from people anymore. Like or if you get a gift from a parent, it's like, oh hey, I bought you a leaf blower. Oh, thanks, mom. That's fucking more work for me. You know, like
Yeah,
Jesus, like yeah, you don't get fun gifts, and like I don't know how you guys are, like you and Susie, but like we buy, like if I want something, I buy it myself, like during the
yeah,
year. I'm like, I'm not
exactly.
waiting, or if I want something golf, like I wait until I get enough pro shop credit and go buy it, right? Like there's not. That's another one. That's probably pretty close to my second because I agree. It's just not, when you're an adult, it's like you're doing all the money spending and like you don't get nearly the enjoyment out of it. So,
Yeah, and one more honorable mention for you. Uh, Water parks slash amusement parks. Like unless you've got kids that you're taking and it's fun for them, horrible. That's
not
awesome
fun.
when you're a kid. You don't just go
Yeah.
to an amusement park as an adult, That's I mean, at least I don't, so
I'm going to go the opposite direction on this just to add on to this. The since we were kind of on like holidays and things like that, the holiday that holds its weight as an adult, Halloween. Like
yeah.
I think actually Halloween's more fun now than it was as a kid. Like at least in our neighborhood, like we have people that have a party every year on Halloween. Like we go down there afterwards. You know, there's people in our neighborhood that give out drinks for the adults for trick or treating. Like I'm all in. I give out. Heck, I think last year I gave out fireball shots. Like to
Oh
me,
God.
Halloween carries its water as an adult. I actually think it's more fun than it was as a kid. And in
Yeah,
college, you get the college parties and stuff like
oh
that.
yeah, I've always liked the idea of Halloween more than I've actually liked Halloween. Like I'm not a big like dress up guy or whatever, but I understand why people like Halloween.
I'm a big dress up guy. I dig Halloween.
Nice.
I dig it.
I respect it. I respect it.
I'm like Michael Scott. Michael Scott always had the best costumes. Like that. That's that. I go full. I go full sin. Real quick,
We'll have yeah.
we're getting off the tracks here, but real quick,
Okay.
I had a span of like 7 years. My uncle used to have a Halloween party, and he told me I could not come back unless I wore the same costume every year because it was so good. I was Frisch's big
Okay.
boy one year, and I was like Frisch's big boy for like 7 years in a row because he told me I wasn't allowed coming back if I dressed as something else. So
I remember it. Yeah, you're
I
perfect
go,
for his big boy. It's great.
I
Yeah.
am. I'm like the poster child, like in real life. So, but
Oh, so
okay,
good.
yeah. But I had to get that out because, like, I love Halloween. But that is something I think is more fun as an adult than it is kids. Like, you never eat all your candy as a kid. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of do all this work to not eat it all, and then you run the risk of houses having shitty candy and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but those were good honorable mentions, though. Christmas for sure. Like, it's just not fun as an adult. If you do get a gift, it's a shitty gift. Like that's pretty much how it is. So, but yeah, I like those honorable mentions. Those are really really good. All right, so we're gonna move on to my question here. I actually got asked this by a listener, and I thought I knew the answer to the question. Like right off the bat, I was like, "That's what I'm doing." And then I
Okay.
started thinking about it, and I changed my mind. So, would you rather be able to drink for free the rest of your life at your home course, or or get free balls, 5 dozen a year from your preferred ball supplier for the rest of your life?
Oh, I think it's not even close. I think I want the golf balls.
Okay, that's where I stood at first. Okay,
Okay.
that's where I stood at first. Because I'm
Sure.
sitting there thinking, I'm like, what do you spend on golf balls every year? Like $300-400? Like, it just kind of made sense from a financial standpoint. But you only get 5 dozen every year. Okay,
Yeah.
which legitimately probably should last you most of the year. You like if we get like a late summer, you might be able to. You might have to buy balls like in October or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if we get like a really, really, really warm fall. But then I started thinking about it. I was
Yeah,
like,
dude, you're
well,
already convincing me.
I'm like, well, it didn't say anything about playing golf. Like if I just go to the golf course and like putt around, I can drink for free.
Yeah, I mean
And like,
the more I think about it, the value is on the drinks. I mean, that's only like 250, $300 worth of golf balls. I mean, do you spend that much on alcohol at the course during the year?
in a 12-month
Highly
span,
possible.
probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
not trying to show my cards too much here, but
No.
probably.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah,
it's
I
like you
think
don't have to golf. Like you can just go to lunch on a Saturday and go up there and drink for free.
yeah, I
So I
think
changed my mind.
I think you've changed my mind already. Gosh, that was a fast turnaround. But yeah, clearly the value is on, getting the free booze. So That's where you go. You got to go where the value is.
Yeah, but I did. I like right when they asked, I was like balls for sure. Like that's a no brainer. And he's like, "Well, you only get 5 dozen." I'm like, I started doing the math. I'm like, that's only like even the most expensive ball. It's only like $350, like 325, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the value. I mean, you know, I don't even think you have to drink that much for the value to be there. To be completely honest with you.
No, I don't think so at all. You're paying like $5 a beer. You have 6 while you're up there on a given day. That's $30 at a time. You go to the course 10 times. Boom.
Yeah, done. And I would
Yeah.
think we're both at the course more than 10 times a year.
Yeah. I completely have 180'd on this one. I'm glad we talked that through.
Yeah. No, I thought that was a cool question. I'm like, because it does. It leads you like when you ask it, you're like, oh balls, and then you like,
Yeah.
hold on, wait a second, like, nah, maybe not. Like, yeah, the value is definitely in the drinking for free. Specifically, if you can drink for free at the course, you don't actually have to play golf. That to me is
Yeah.
like a no brainer. That's probably at least $1,000 a year.
Now, a
I
small
mean,
twist on this before we get out of here, a small twist on this, because I know you've got the voucher for the free carts for the season. Uh, would you take the free drinking or the cart that you already have, having experienced the no cart fees?
and the no cart fees is pretty awesome.
It
I mean,
is.
it really is. I mean, I don't know. I would probably stick with the cart voucher just
I think
because
that's right too.
it's convenient too. Like I don't even have to go in there. Like I don't have to go in and pay for my card or anything. Like it's pretty nice. And then you think about the value, like $1,000, in drinking. You'd really have to get after it a lot to get to that point.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
if you pay 20 rounds at $20, I mean that's right there is $400. So
and think about what I paid for it. The break even's like 52 rounds, which I should get to this
good
year.
God,
I mean, I should. I mean, it's April to April,
yeah,
so
that's true.
realistically, like if I'm a little behind, like I might just have to get after it like next March and April, or next March, and really try to play a lot. But I think at the minimum, like I'll probably before the summer's over, like with matches and tournaments and stuff like that, like I'm probably gonna get to 60 rounds maybe this year.
Yeah,
So I mean, think about Wednesday night league. It's 20 weeks. I'll probably play in 16 of them.
yeah. I mean
So
that right there, $10 pop, 160. Yeah, you're that one's a close one. I think that's a tougher conversation than the golf balls.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But cart for free for life and drinking, like man, like $1,000 in a year. I mean, you gotta like look. We get after it sometimes. Like you'd have to be fully committed to getting after it a lot up there. So,
You would. Oh,
we're not charging $5 a beer at the Elks or anything. So,
right.
uh,
All right. Oh my God,
so
I made
well,
it. I
you did.
survived. I'm
I'm
gonna go to
proud of
bed.
you.
Thank you. I'm gonna sweat this thing out. I'm gonna get under like 5 blankets and just force it out of my system.
This was your flu game. I think you did pretty well. I mean, you didn't win an NBA championship, but you
No,
deserve an NBA championship.
I gotta say, like big shout out to Susie because she after I finished up working for the day, I got a nice hour nap in. Major key, major key. So
Oh yeah, a nap would always make you feel better.
yeah,
Especially when you're sick. Ugh. How the hell do you get sick in the summer? Like I get sick in the winter a lot, but the
that's what
summer, like
it's true. Like a
I
kick in the
say that
nuts. Like
I'm gonna be fucking sick next week. Like, as soon as I say that, I'm
yeah.
gonna be sick next week. Uh,
Well,
Hopefully
I'm
Strep
about
can't
to
come
get
through the video cam.
right. I'm about to get my 24 hours of antibiotics in my system. Hopefully, no longer contagious after tomorrow. So I think we'll survive in advance here.
I'd overdose on antibiotics if I felt like that. I'm just letting you know. Like I had taken at least 7 of them by now. So
Uh, yeah,
2
we're
a
too
day,
deep.
try 8 a day.
Oh my God.
Uh,
All right.
all
Well,
right.
I don't think there's anything we can do to close this thing out. You got anything at the end?
No, hey, hats. We still have
Uh,
hats. I got a couple that I need to drop off from people that bought during our tournament a couple weeks back. But still have some blue. Got a few blue ones left. Got a decent amount of white ones left, and then we do still. I think we still have a couple Patio Beers hats left. Maybe
We do,
maybe.
yeah. We do.
One of those is gone. Those go. I bought one for my dad because he watched our dogs when we were on vacation. So I owe him a hat. I already bought it. So don't sell that one. But we've got hats left. So
awesome. Yeah, hit us up if you'd like a hat. And, man, other than that, we'll see you out on the golf course, I guess.
Yeah, maybe not you soon. But
we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling come Wednesday. I might get the itch to get out there for league, so.
Oh, well, I hope to see you out there.
All right, man.
All right,
cheers, everybody.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 Six Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 Six Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.